It's August 31st, and I'm here at Custer Elementary School in Lakewood. DSHS is here today to talk about proposed changes to Washington State Hospital down the street. The biggest change is the construction of a 350-bed forensic hospital on the Washington State Hospital campus. What is a forensic hospital? How will security be managed? And how will this affect the community around the hospital campus? We're here today to ask some questions of DSHS leaders, so let's go talk to them.
Hi, I'm Mark Thompson. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Gage Center of Forensic Excellence at Washington State Hospital. And one of the typical questions that I've been hearing recently is, what is the difference between a forensic patient and a civil patient? And the easiest way to explain that is a forensic patient is one that comes in through the criminal justice system and is referred to us through the courts. And usually that starts off with an evaluation for competency. And then if we think that we can restore that competency as deemed by our treatment professionals, we'll then try a competency restoration period with them. A civil patient comes into the civil side of the hospital under a civil commitment, and that's either a 90 or 180-day commitment that is given by a judge for either being a danger to yourself, to others, or gravely disabled, but doesn't always coincide with having a criminal charge.
I get a lot of questions about how people discharge from the state hospitals. We currently serve 3 populations of patients. 2 are forensic and 1 is the civil population. And so the difference between those is that the forensic patients enter through the criminal justice system. So we're going to talk about one of those types of patients and how they go through the process of competency restoration. Competency restoration's treatment is to restore someone's competency so that they can participate in court for whatever charges brought them into the facility. Competency restoration treatment includes learning about the court processes, developing coping skills, learning how to manage triggers, education about their mental health disorders. Once they're ready to go back to court, if they've regained their competency, about 85% of our patients discharge back to the jail facility so that they can participate and resolve their criminal justice issues, while about 10% of them still need some additional treatment, and we evaluate them to see if they need a civil detention. So that's where those patients would go, to the civil side of our hospital, and to continue their treatment there prior to discharge.
Most common question I get about the new forensic hospital, in the addition of the 350 beds, forensics beds at the hospital, is concerns in the community about patients leaving Western State Hospital. And the forensic patients that we have, they do not leave the building or not out and go out to the community like many of our civil patients do. These patients come from the county jails for competency restoration, and they return to the county jail, and they do not leave the building. Outside of the forensic hospital, though, many security improvements have been put on at the hospital since 2016. There's been a 90% reduction of our civil patients leaving the facility. So a lot of times when people bring up stories, I've had people come to the table today, they bring up stories and they're talking about, one guy brought up a story from 2002, another one brought up a story from 2010. But the addition of the forensic hospital, and then that being a forensic center of excellence, it should be even less concern to the community for people going and leaving the hospital grounds.
As we have heard public comment on our master plan, one of the most frequent questions we've got is, what's included in the master plan? What's it going to do to the campus? The most significant project is a 350-bed new hospital for our forensic patients, located in the southwest corner. The exact site has yet to be decided because we are just now beginning the design process. But we expect that a 350-bed hospital and the supporting treatment, program, and support spaces will be constructed over the next 4 to 6 years. Other elements of the master plan include an addition on the north central side of our campus, serving what we call Building 29. It's a gymnasium and a treatment center for civil patients that are occupied in that part of the campus. We've also got 2 projects at the Child Study and Treatment Center, a new 18-bed residential treatment facility, and a new building to house activities, treatment, and visitation. And we include a new visitor center for the historic Fort Steilacoom Association, southeast of their parade grounds today. Associated with this development includes demolition of a number of structures, either those that are woefully deteriorated or those that will be vacated prior to construction of the new hospital, and the utilities, parking, sidewalks, street frontage improvements that goes along with that kind of development.
Another question I hear is the idea of civil patients being discharged into smaller community facilities. And really the reason for that is that when you're discharging a civil patient, a lot of times they've been at the hospital for a period of time, and during that period of time they've been removed from their loved ones, from their community supports, and for people who come to Western State Hospital, we'll receive civil patients from all over the western side of Washington. And really what we want to do is we want those civil patients to be treated locally. So if there's someone who lives in the Vancouver area, we would love to have a facility that could serve those patients in the Vancouver area, to have families still available to come and visit them, to have their support system around them. And when we discharge them, we can discharge them right back into their community instead of having to come all the way to Lakewood, Washington and discharge sometimes up to 300 miles away.
One common question we receive is, what is the city's involvement in the Western State Hospital Master Plan? We are here to look at the environmental impact, such as traffic, physical environment, as well as the community impact. Part of that is receiving public comment. We'd love to hear from you, and you can do so by making comment at wshmasterplan.org. There's an option to fill out a form online, or you can provide public testimony at our next public hearing. That information will also be publicized at wshmasterplan.org. Thank you.